Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Fantastic Four issue 42. And this was an interesting one because we finally got to the moment where Ben finds out what the thing is that Reed did that was unforgivable, while we see Jen and Jack of Hearts kind of dealing with others of the Reckoning and other things kind of going on in the background. So, this issue, we kind of start off when we see the Badoon are being led by Ruin of Reckoning to take the Baxter building on Earth. And we see that once it's breached, Val, Franklin, and like Nikki are able to kind of pretty much figure out they need to start Zero Protocol. And it's interesting because Joe is like, he'll be like the shield to protect his mother, but he has said that he's not going to like raise his hand in battle. He'd never do that again. Now, granted, that's a little bit later, but we do see that they're trying to help Ben out. Jack of Hearts is able to use his abilities to pretty much cauterize the wound. Reed being like, "Yeah, I got the Watcher stuff. I know it's gonna work." She-Hulk's able to figure out where they've gone to Obscura Minor, because we learn later in this issue that she did a court case to pretty much be like, hey, they wanted their privacy, so it's a place that the Watchers can't watch. And that is actually kind of a problem for them, because they pretty much, Reed's able to utilize the Watcher's power to kind of like teleport them there, while like the rest of like the Shi'ar guards like, what the hell, what happened to the crystal? And that's about all we get from them. It's like, okay, at least we know that they're waking up and okay. We see that Reed then, of course, gets the emergency contact about his children, about everything going on, telling them to initiate the Zero Protocol, and then looking like he's crying. And that's saying that, asking for Jen to have a moment with Ben as Jen and Jack go off. And she, of course, is angry at herself because she's like, this place should be teeming with life, but everybody's dead, and she's like, it's my fault. It's like, not really. I mean, they didn't want to be watched by the Watchers, but the Watchers aren't like getting into the heat of the battle at the moment with these beings that have their abilities but do not have the same kind of oath of non-interference. I'm sorry if somebody's doing some crazy ass shit. I mean, yeah, She-Hulk helped them with their whole kind of like privacy thing, and it did lead them to being exploited as a beachhead for the Reckoning, but I don't put that completely on her. And we see that Reed tells Ben that the project Zero Protocol was a self-destruct thing for killing them, to destroy the Forever Gate, to keep it out of enemies' hands, as we see Ben get completely and utterly rage, pretty much Hulk level rage. And then we see that everything's kind of broken up panel wise, which is kind of interesting because this goes to red, and then we are then told throughout the rest of the story these bottom panels of Ben beating the ever loving hell out of Reed. So the next kind of thing is just She-Hulk pretty much giving that whole kind of thing about being a dark sector of space, and that yeah, we watched the Rajlek, and more than watch, we slaughtered every last one of them. And then Jen's like, fuck that noise, and goes after Wrath. Let's see. Most of the stuff is that Ben is like, I'm going to kill you. You took my family. You took everything. Reed's trying to kind of reason with him and restrain him. And that's pretty much it till we'll get back to his stuff at the end. Yeah. So that's all that's going on there. Wrath pretty much introduces himself, saying that he wanted it to be a beachhead, that it's their thing, beachhead, to resume the first war, and that the people didn't mean anything. It was the real estate. It's like, they don't give a shit. It's like, well, fuck you guys. And Jennifer's like doing her best to try and like take his ass out. And Wrath is like, yeah, I lived in a universe when it was 10 times its size. And like, you live in no more than a pond. It's like, wow. I do like that they're kind of explaining what was going, like, yeah, the universe you live in, even though vast and big, is small compared to what I've got. And Jack starts trying to utilize everything that he's got, and he's like, I was in the Barrens, like, this is doing nothing to me. And then he's like, I'm going to do my favorite form of execution. Pretty much bashing people's skulls together, and like the strongest one knows they're the instrument of their companion's destruction. And it's like, god damn, that's a powerful way to get his character across, of like, he is that fucked up of being like, if I've got like two people that are friends that I'm executing, I'm just gonna bash them together and morally break the other person by being like, yeah, I used you as an instrument to kill your friend, so fuck this dude. And he's just complaining that he would rather like that the Watchers could see what was going on. Then we see that some of the Watchers are having second thoughts of having Uatu imprisoned while Nick Fury is looking on. Let's see. And then there's a time of great gathering of sharing of all knowledge. So they're literally just like, most of them aren't doing anything, except for Mnu. He's needed elsewhere, and Fury's like trying to figure out, okay, they're gonna link minds, download everything, but what's going on with this dude? Why isn't he joining? And Fury's like, okay, something's not working right with this dude, but this is probably my best shot of getting Uatu out of there, and he'd probably be able to be of more help than what's kind of going on. So maybe the Watchers are doing some kind of other active things, but we'll have to see how that plays out. Then we see at the capital of the Kree Skrull Empire of Anelavel that Teddy and Wiccan are doing their best to fight off, let's see, machine men from like, they're like vengeance for Mecha? I think. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's like a Mekka. Mecha, maybe? It's saying that they kind of need some help for what's going on, and of course, Torch comes in. It's like, oh, right. And with the unparalleled, let's see. And then, of course, Torch is pretty much being like, okay, you're Torgo's people, and he pretty much like melts them. He's like, you joined up with the wrong side. Why don't you like sit and think about what you've done? As he like melts them down, and it's like, god damn. Granted, he is pretty much in I am fucking hot mode, but it's like, holy shit. And then of course the Unparalleled are thinking, damn, there's a lot of shit that's going on, and that Sky's seen a lot of shit that they haven't. Of course, Teddy, Hulkling's like, hey, can you turn down the heat? It's like, I can't really do that, but I kind of want to see if you want to join up and kind of help our asses out. And he's like, oh, I'd be honored if you're the first. It's like, you're not really at the moment. As we then see a pretty kind of cool splash page, as we see the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Starjammers, we got Beta Ray Bill there. It's like, yeah, let me put it to you this way. Even though Johnny was kind of in pissed off mode, he has done a pretty good job of like bringing in a lot of different kind of cosmic people that help with this kind of cosmic threat. So I'm like, good on you for building that up. You're going to get the Kree Skrull Empire, you got the Starjammers, you got the Guardians of the Galaxy, you got some Asgardian stuff with Beta Ray Bill. Let's kind of see where else he's able to do this. It's really kind of interesting to see Johnny in that kind of role, doing that, of gathering all these people and going to these hot spots to kind of like put down what's going down with the Reckoning. And then we see that Reach trying to explain stuff to Ben, as Ben's just whacking the shit out of him and being like, I don't want to hear another damn thing, before Reed starts a communicator thing going on, and that everybody's still alive, as he starts crying about that, and that they've been trying to get through to them, and that they're safe to Protocol Zero, as Nikki's more like Protocol Boring, asking if their dad's beat the Reckoning yet, saying that he loves them and everything. And then Ben's like, what the fuck's going on here? Work to do? What's going on with you? And Reed then is being like, it was a necessary deception because you froze up when fighting Rapture. And I'm like, okay, but Reed's always been a kind of weird kind of dude, but he has always had more of a kind of emotional intelligence than this. I understand how big of a threat the Reckoning is in this whole Reckoning War, but the Watcher, like, I hope they explain that it's like the Watcher's powers and his brain pretty much going to be fried in pretty much like 42 hours, that he would do this, because this is cold even for him. Reed is not a completely unfeeling and asshole character, granted, unless you're talking about certain variants and the ultimate version of him. He usually is more stuck in a logic kind of loop and trying to think ahead and do other kind of things, but he never really goes to a kind of level of doing this kind of deception and everything, and you can tell that Ben is, like, not having that. And he's like, I'm not, that I don't forgive you for this. He's like, fine, you can hate me for the rest of my life, all 42 hours of it. In the meantime, our friends are this way. And that they see that there's this doorway pretty much to the Barrens, that that's where their friends are supposed to be at, saying that, like, he'd be fine if Ben stayed there. And then Ben's like, I don't trust you to be alone with Jen and Jack. And it's like, I do not blame you. Like, I understand why Ben went into rage mode and pretty much tried to beat Reed to death. And that he doesn't trust him here, because this is like, what else won't you tell us when the time comes on? So it'll be interesting to see how this kind of shakes out. And he, of course, gives the lowdown of the Barrens that it's the remaining 9/10 of the universe, that everything about it is pure poison, and that we don't really want to stay here for too long because we'll probably, like, die like that. So they got to get their friends out. But then we see that Wrath is like, okay, they pretty much went into our trap, closes down the whole kind of portal thing, and be like, alright, that was kind of easier. Rapture's like, his Rocky pet amused me, I would like to finish him off. And then the other dude's like, same for the Green Woman, I owe her one. And he, of course, apologizes to them. Let's see. That they had the technology of the Watchers and took them eons to move beyond the Great Barrier. For them, they'll be dead before they ever find a way out. It's like, yeah, normally, but the thing is, you've got Reed Richards' mind with the, like, knowledge and power of the Watchers. He'll be able to figure it out. Then we end up in the Florida Everglades, as we've got Doom and his box that he did. And he's like, I stayed my hand, bided my time, prepared, and you're one of the most powerful entities to encounter. He's like, yeah, come here, I got what you want, meet your doom here. And he's pretty much calling for the Cormorant dude to pop out. It's like, oh, okay. And I evidently didn't know that the Cormorant was of the Reckoning, so that kind of helps out, because I see this thing that kind of explained it. So that was probably in some other kind of thing, because I was wondering when we'd learn more about that. So Doom is doing his own kind of doomy thing. It pretty much tracks for his usual kind of thing, but I'm intrigued to see how that kind of shakes out. So it seems that we'll be getting, in at least this one, we'll have to see how Reed, Ben, Jen, and Jack, that flowed pretty well, get out of the Barrens. I think that pretty much Franklin and Val will be in, like, we're in safe bubble mode, so we won't really see much of them. But I'm intrigued to see Johnny's kind of stuff and his kind of group coming together and what they're going to be doing, as well as what Doom's going to be doing to fight the Reckoning as well, because it's Doom. Now, granted, he doesn't really like working with other people, even though he should, but it'll be interesting to see how what his efforts are going to be doing and how they're going to affect the Reckoning. While we also have Nick Fury mecking around and hoping to get Uatu out, as Uatu's like, fine! I hope we get, like, granted, there's normally a lot of times where Uatu is like, I gotta fucking do something, but this is one where it's like, I need to do something, and if you guys aren't gonna do your shit, this is a problem. It's a very kind of interesting kind of take on the kind of Prime Directive from Star Wars. Not Star Wars. Why the fuck did I do that? Prime Directive from Star Trek. Ugh. I'm thinking, oof. I'm sorry about that. Prime Directive from Star Trek, i.e. where you don't interfere or anything. But the thing is, you've already interfered, so you're gonna have to, like, you've already entertained that notion, and you already had to shrink the universe to, like, a tenth of its size. And these guys are coming in and be like, you know what? Fuck your shit. And it's like, alright, you gotta have to kind of go in and do something. So it'll be interesting if Uatu's able to kind of concoct a plan to kind of do something either on his own or is able to bring other Watchers into it. There's a lot of interesting kind of pieces in here that I can't wait to see kind of shake out. So those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.